It felt like the call would never end. Her voice in the receiver wasn't a shout, but an icy screech, a grindstone wearing down my nerves. I stayed silent, my eyes glued to the endless ribbon of the night highway, losing myself in its asphalt void. The line went dead as suddenly as the nightmare had begun. I leaned my head back against the headrest, closing my eyes in relief. Thank God for dead zones. She'll drain me, suck me dry like an empty glass, a clear, foreign voice pronounced inside my head. I was about to sink back into the swamp of my thoughts when a light struck my eyes. Not just a light, but a pulsating, blinding rainbow. A massive neon sign spelling Hotel Aegis burned on the rooftop like an alien artifact stranded in this backwater. Home, the same voice grated, and it sounded like a sentence. A lump formed in my throat. Home? That's where the same scene, the same accusations, the same monster hiding behind a loved one's face awaited me? I felt the muscles in my own face finally relax, and I knew I wasn't going anywhere. I needed to be alone, outside this car, outside that life. After parking, I got a proper look at the building. From the outside, it was a lopsided log cabin, sprouting two-story wings like an ugly wooden bat. It looked ancient, twisted out of time itself, and the eerie contrast with the blazing sign was jarring. The sign illuminated everything, the treetops, the deserted parking lot, but the hotel itself remained a sullen, light-absorbing blot. Stepping over the threshold, I gasped. Inside was a dazzling, unnatural opulence. Crystal chandeliers, heavy velvet carpets, dark wood floors polished to a mirror shine, and walls lined with books in identical leather bindings. The air was thick and cloying, a mix of old dust and expensive perfume. It felt less like a hotel and more like a museum or a tomb. A girl stood behind the reception desk, too perfect, too doll-like. Her smile was calibrated to the millimeter. "Hello, welcome to the Hotel Aegis." Her voice was melodic but lifeless, like a recording. "How can I help you?" "I need a room for 3 days, your best one," I said, attempting a smile in return. Without breaking her glassy stare, the girl produced a key from under the counter. Bronze, heavy, with an engraved number 16. "Your suite," she said, swinging the door open. The room was stunning. A huge four-poster bed, a panoramic window, massive mahogany furniture. The air smelled of fresh linen and something else, faint and unidentifiable, like expensive tobacco.
"Is this all?" I joked, winking at the receptionist as I crossed the threshold. The reply didn't come from her, a heavy, wet whisper emanating from everywhere and nowhere at once rumbled right by my ear. "Don't worry, we've prepared the best room for you." The door slammed shut with a thunderous crash. I was alone. The realization that the voice belonged not to the girl, but to something invisible, locked me in icy dread. Sleep brought no peace. I woke up in a cold sweat, a weight like a stone on my chest. The darkness in the room was absolute, thick as tar. Gasping for air, I stumbled onto the balcony. Beyond the glass was not a park. It was a black velvet nothingness where the trunks of charred trees dissolved. Streetlights illuminated only small, pathetic circles, emphasizing the impenetrable darkness around them. And in that darkness, things moved. Shadows cast by nothing pulsed, swelling and shrinking, accompanied by clicks. These sounds mimicked crickets, but were too mechanical, too precise, as if made by a non-living mechanism trying to imitate life. In the morning, stepping into the corridor, I encountered the cleaning lady, a hunched, ancient woman scrubbing the already spotless floor with unsettling diligence. Her face was a mask of wrinkles. "Good morning," I mumbled out of politeness. The old woman slowly raised her eyes to me. Her face remained immobile, but her mouth fell open, revealing empty, wet gums. "The corridor twists," she hissed, her lips not moving. An icy shiver ran down my spine. I quickened my pace. She watched me, her murky gaze fixed on my back. And then I heard the clicks again. I ran.
And the corridor obediently responded. The straight passage began to bend, walls converging and diverging, spawning junctions that hadn't been there a second before. I descended staircases, leading to floors marked -87 or 113. Some landings were covered in a yellowish, pulsating slime that smelled of rotten eggs and honey. Others were collapsed, forcing me to climb through rooms with gaping holes in the floor that dropped into absolute blackness. Once, opening a door, I found not a room, but another corridor, ending in another door. And again, dozens, hundreds of times I opened them, going insane with claustrophobia, until I turned around and found the door behind me was gone, replaced by a smooth wall. I beat it with my fists, screamed until my throat was raw. When I was mad with despair, another doorknob finally turned, and I tumbled out into a familiar, but now dilapidated and graffiti-covered corridor. An elevator suddenly opened on my path. Inside stood the receptionist. Her beautiful face was now a mask of wax, sliding off the skull beneath, but her smile remained the same, perfect and dead. She waved, inviting me in. I fled downward until I reached what I thought was the ground floor. Instead of an exit, I found a bar, a room of black wood polished to a mirror sheen that drank the scant light. Seated at tables were figures, not mannequins, but something worse, beings with blurred, featureless faces. They were whispering, and their whispers formed words. Lost. He thinks there's a way out? They are already preparing a place for him. I approached the counter. From the darkness behind it, only a bestial gleaming grin emerged. No eyes, no nose, just rows of white, overly sharp teeth. Silently, a glass of dark golden whiskey was placed before me. I downed it in one go, feeling the alcohol spread through my veins like burning poison. The drunken courage turned into a horrifying clarity. At the bottom of the glass, a maggot with cockroach antennae was writhing. I looked up at the grin. In response, a low, guttural growl emanated from the dark. It wasn't angry. It was a warning. I was not welcome here. I burst out of the bar and was surprised to find the main corridor straight again. I ran, trying to smash the windows with a chair, but the glass was stronger than armor. And then, at the far end of the hall, the lights went out. Not just vanished, but were consumed by an advancing wall of absolute blackness. It flowed toward me, silent and inexorable, and from its depths came the growing thunder of 1,000 footsteps. I sprinted toward my room, the only door with light spilling from underneath. I hurled myself inside, leaning my back against the door, feeling something huge and heavy throwing itself against it from the outside. Then everything fell silent. I woke to silence, a deafening one. Opening the door, I saw there was no floor beyond the threshold, only darkness, thick, viscous, like liquid asphalt. I reached out and my fingers sank into it, the skin left with the sensation of a frostbite burn. From the darkness, a hand slowly floated out. It was a perfect copy of my own, but stretched out like taffy and pitch black. At its end grew 7 long, bony fingers. It gently dragged them across the door frame, and the wood instantly crumbled into a gray, lifeless dust. Somewhere in that void, something howled, not in anger, but in hunger. I slammed the door and scrambled for the phone. The receiver was dead. Only after a long dial tone did I hear that same wet whisper. "We've prepared." I slammed the phone down and looked out the window. There was no day or night, only the same black emptiness. The hotel was no longer on Earth. It was adrift in nothingness. On the nightstand lay the key to room 16. I always carried it in my pocket. I reached into my jeans. They were empty. The key was on the nightstand. I looked at it, and it was back in my pocket, cold and heavy. That's when the knocking started, first on the wall, then on the ceiling, then under the floor. It grew, becoming a deafening cacophony, a frantic drumming hammering into my brain. I screamed, covering my ears, but the sound came from within. I looked at the door. The gap beneath it had grown wider. From it, darkness seeped up like smoke. And then, from right behind my ear, came a soft, familiar whisper. "We've prepared the best room for you forever."